Right, so welcome everybody. It's another lovely evening to be here with you. I'm going to start sharing my screen. We're going to be starting with the synthetic indices markets. All right, we're going to start with the synthetic indices commodities, and then from there we'll get to dive a little bit into the currency markets. All right, for those who missed the session, definitely the recording will be available on the YouTube channel. But nonetheless, in the meantime, this is where we are right now. Okay, so we're starting with crash 300. This is crash 300 index, right? And this is what the market looks like right now. And as we can see, this is the 4 hours time frame. You know, this trend line is where the price is at the moment. And I wouldn't want to give a definite bias just yet, at least not until we have, you know, there are quite a number of interesting spots to look out for. We can see initially that on the overall we're in a bearish trend. All right, we can see that overall we're in a bearish trend. So basically, there's a possibility that price breaks above this way, comes this way. All right, then we could see some, decline back down into that breaker block. And, peradventure, if we're going to go a bit higher, then we could have this, which would line up perfectly with, this trend line that is on the daily time frame. All right, so this would be my bias on crash 300. But majority of my, my main area of entry would be this zone here. All right, that would be my major target zone, because if we put a Fibonacci on that, all right, if we place a Fibonacci on that, what you would observe is that it aligns perfectly with the 76.4, which is one of my major levels for getting sniper entries. So that is exactly why I would expect to trade in favor of the bearish trend rather than the bullish. All right, so I'll be expecting. I'm leaning more towards this happening. All right, I'm leaning more towards that. Although currently we can see that there's this other block here that price seems to be reacting to, but nonetheless, I want to see some some quality movement all the way down to that point. All right, and at least, if at all, we're going to have this breakout, then before we can have a bearish momentum, I would be expecting to have let me see, let's do this. I'll be expecting to have something like this first. All right, if at all we're going to have a bullish reversal, all right, the expectation would be that we come back to form equal lows here. All right, we come back to equal these two lows, all right, and then bounce back on. So I have two major zones that I'm looking at, right, or that I'm watching out for. I want to see price, break out of that that trend line. Okay, I want to see price break out of that trend line, then come back here for a bullish trend, or come here, all right, to give me some really smooth bullish setup. All right, so I believe we can all see my screen. All right, I strongly believe that we can all see my screen. So this is my setup. This is my my overview for crash 300. Quickly, we're going to look into crash 1000. And please, if you're on this call right now, if you have a commodity that you would like me to analyze for us in the course of in the course of this session, please do well to drop it in the Telegram group. All right, just drop it in the Telegram group, and then I'm going to address it ASAP. All right, so I have my I can be able to give you exactly what you want to see, or exactly what you need to see. All right, so we can focus on the commodities that matter to you. All right, so we're going to take a look at crash 1000. All right, we're going to take a look at crash 1000. Whilst that is loading, please be sure to drop any commodity whatsoever that you need me to analyze for you. All right, whatsoever the name is, just drop it in the chat in the group chat on the Telegram group, and I'm going to get to it right about now. All right, so I'm waiting to see your comments. All right, so having done that, we're going to go straight into, all right, we're still waiting for Crash 1000 to load. Okay. All right, it takes a little bit of time. Let's look at V25 first, then and see if that loads up faster than Crash 1000. All right. So this is V25 on the 4 hours time frame. Let me go to the daily first so that I can formulate a more long-term bias. All right, we're looking at gold and V75. All right, I'm going to get to gold and V75 shortly, especially V75. I know it's a really important index for a whole lot of people, so I'm going to get to V75 shortly. For V25, I can see we've been in this, this downtrend, right? But somehow it looks like a form of an imbalance, all right. And then we've had this. This is on the daily time frame, please. So we've had that. We've had So I'm waiting to see now. Basically, what is happening here, all right? Because I need us to understand what's going on here, so that even if my bias is not something that you can really flow with, all right. Even if it's not something you can really flow with, at least you know that you have a you have a bias, an overall bias that should work for you. So basically, we can see on the daily time frame that we had that bearish trend. Currently on the 4 hours time frame, it doesn't look like much is happening, but I can see that we seem to have formed, markets seem to have formed, this range. We have this equal lows here, which means that there should be a whole lot of liquidity gathering around there, pulling around there. And then we've had this equal highs around here. All right, so currently there's a bunch of things that could happen. All right, as you can see, right, and currently we've also broken market structure, although we've not broken above this high. All right, which means that this rejection we're experiencing right now could be from this other block. All right, could basically be from this other block. All right, but nonetheless, what I want us to see, or what I want to see as my bias, all right, is what I will see as my bias is a movement that brings us back down here. All right, that brings us at least back down there. Just all right, we'll get to that too. All right, so this is V25 on the lower time frame, and as you can see, we have this really nice supply zone here. So I would be anticipating a bearish movement from there. This gives me a confirmation to, to favor my bearish bias. All right, or at worst, something like this could take place. We could have something like this happening. So we could see price, maybe push up to this point, at which stage or at which point it's going to line up perfectly with it's going to line up perfectly with this other block. All right, and then from there we can see that drop. All right, so that's the worst case scenario for V25. All right, so right now we're going to get into V75. Let's look at V75. So for indices traders, please, I need you to take real good cognizance of these things that I'm showing you right now, because to a very large extent, I believe strongly that this biases are at least 80% accurate. All right, many of you remember this V75 analysis that I did, last week. All right, and if you check this entry, this setup, okay, if you check this setup, you realize that, let me just do this and show you. This was a 1:8.5 risk to reward. All right. It was that amazing a trade. All right. So, I have so many people who probably feel like, my setups are too long term, but I want to assure you that these are setups that you can take for a longer period of time, take a swing position, just watch the market play out in your direction. All right. And then at the same time, you're trading with so much peace of mind. Right, but on the 4 hours, this is what I'm seeing currently on V75. That's an order block, which is also a supply zone, which market seems to be retracing from. At the same time, we have this trend line. All right, we have that trend line. We have this too. So we could see price come this way, to align with this other block. All right, we could see price go that way and then come down here. All right, that is if V75 is going to take a bearish turn. But however, I'm going to be favoring a bullish trend more. All right, I'm going to be voting more in favor of a bullish trend. So a couple of things could happen. All right, a whole lot of things could happen actually. So basically, I want to see price, deep down to this level. Maybe peradventure it can, reignite its bullish trend from that spot. Okay, but majorly, this is a key zone that I will be watching out for. Sorry, that's not what I want to draw. That's a key zone I'll be watching out for a bullish continuation. So basically, it's either price comes this way and then continues going down, right? And the reason why I feel like that's more probable is because, as you can see on the Fibonacci, it aligns with the 76.4 level perfectly, right? It aligns with that perfectly. So let's go to the 15 minutes and see what price is saying on the 15 minutes. We're going to get to V51S real soon, all right? We're going to get to that real soon. Okay, so on the 15 minutes, we've seen that we've had those equal highs. All right, we've had those equal highs. We seem to have had equal lows here. All right, and then we've had that break of the trend line. This trend line is broken. Market structure is broken. This previous high has also been broken. All right, this begins to look so much to me like an actual Quasimodo pattern. All right, so let's see what this does. Okay, beautiful. So basically, this is the zone we'll be watching out for. This is the zone we'll be watching out for, anywhere within this zone, and then we might see price, give us that upward momentum. So price could come this way. You might see price come down this way, all right, before it shoots at least, let's say, up here as a result of this other block over here. All right. Yes, that looks like it. That looks like it. Let's see the 1 hour time frame quickly. Like I said at the beginning, if you have anybody who you feel should be here or has a lot to learn from this, please do well to invite them. All right. There's so much value in these setups. As of last week, the setups that I dropped last week yielded some really, really amazing returns. Really, really, really amazing returns. So this is what it looks like, right? As you can see. So this gives us even further confirmation for this area here. All right, we'll look into Gbp Jpy as well. We'll look into Gbp Jpy as well. So as you can see, so I'm expecting this to happen, and then we can bounce back down. All right, so that's my bias for V75. That's my bias for V75. Let me quickly take a screenshot and send that. So the next commodity we're going to be looking at is we're going to be looking at V51S. We're going to be looking at V51S. All right, so for currency pairs, we have gold and GBP Jpy requests. Gold and GBP Jpy requests. All right, beautiful. We're going to get to that shortly. So this is V51S. Oh, yeah, this looks interesting. I believe this was the setup that I gave last week. All right, this was the setup that I gave last week. Price dipped a little below my expected area because this was the other block, and I was hoping for a double bottom here, but price dipped a little below that double bottom. All right, but still gave us some really, really nice movement. On the 4 hours time frame, let me quickly show you this. This is one of my tricks for finding reversal points, all right, and for validating reversal points. And on V51S, we have so many Quasimodo patterns on the daily time frame. So many. I'm just going to show you a couple of these things. And now, the reason why we're doing this is, so that you learn my analysis process. All right, you learn how I see the market, how I evaluate my entries, how I am able to, get those sniper entries that some of you keep wondering about. How do I get 1:30 risk to reward trades, 1:48 and the likes. So I'm going to be showing you exact processes that I follow to get all of that. All right, to get all of that. So like I said, if you have any other requests, any other commodity you would like me to look at or to analyze for you, please do drop the request in the chat box on the group so that we can really get into that ASAP. Okay, and I believe we can all still hear me. Okay, I believe we can still hear me. Okay, good. So I'm just waiting for this to load up. Waiting for this to load up. However, in the meantime, let's take a look at let's see Boom. I believe I gave a setup on Boom 1000 in the group. That was last week. There was a setup that I dropped in the group last week, and I think that a couple of people took it. All right, and it really, really gave some amazing, nice yields that Oh, hello everybody. Sorry. Oh, I'm really, really sorry about that. I'm really sorry about that. I had no idea that my screen was off. All right, apologies. I was trying to attend to some things in the background and I completely forgot that was going to take me off the chat. So this is GBP Jpy. All right, this is GBP Jpy, and this is where we are at right now. I dropped the setup right from the top here. All right, reason being that there's this other block on the daily time frame that I spotted. All right, and then we had those equal eyes right inside that other block. As you can see, this other block on daily time frame, right? And then we had this double top inside of that other block. So all I waited for was on the 15 minutes, I waited for a Quasimodo pattern to get formed. All right, and immediately that Quasimodo pattern was formed. It gave me all of the confirmations that I needed for my, my trade entry. Let me quickly show us that. So for GBP Jpy, my bias is still quite bearish. All right, my bias is still quite bearish. So let's see where that entry was taken from. I love to do reviews like this so that for many people who feel like, oh, it's impossible, these things are too bogus, it's not real, right? So that you can understand that these things are actually very real. Okay, these are things that are possible when these are possibilities that are bound in the market when you know exactly what it is that you're doing. All right, when you know exactly what it is that you're doing. So as you can see, that was my entry spot there. All right, that's my entry zone there, and I entered exactly from this spot. Right, I entered right from this Quasimodo here. All right, at the top here, because we had equal shoulders, and then I believe we can see that. Let me zoom in. It's a 1:17 weeks to reward trade, and it's still very much in motion. All right, I have overlapped. I've taken some stack entries on my main trading account, but this is the main thing. As you can see, equal eyes here at the shoulder at the top here, and then we broke out of that, came back for a retest, and then I took my shot from that spot. So for GBP Jpy, my expectation is still very, very much bearish. All right, for GBP Jpy, it's still very, very much bearish. All right, very much bearish. So let me do this. So even if I'm no longer here, all right, one thing that you can use as your bias to flow with this trade is to follow. I've shown you that there's been a break there. All right, so basically all you would wait for is, probably, price coming down this far. All right, and the reason why is because I want us to be safe enough. I haven't cleared these equal lows. All right, I want us to clear those equal lows first. All right, and then probably see a retest like this, and then a continuation to the downside. All right, so a continuation to the downside. So that's my expectation on GBP Jpy. For gold, and please let's keep the requests coming. I really want us to be able to do a whole lot of things tonight. Let's keep the requests coming. I see all of our comments. Thank you very much. All right, this is gold. Let's go to the daily time frame. All right, this is gold on the daily time frame. We have this rejection from this other block. All right, so far we've broken this trend line. We've also broken this trend line. All right, let me position that later. All right, we've broken that trend line. We've also broken that trend line. We have equal lows here, which means that this was probably a liquidity grab. All right, Then I'm seeing this too. Coupled with the fact that I'm expecting, at least to some extent, I'm expecting some weakness in the dollar. I've been saying this for a couple of weeks now, but I'm really sincere about it. I still hope for some weakness in the dollar because basically last week we analyzed that several of the commodity indices were going to be bearish, and it actually turned out so. The dollar happened to be the only really strong currency last week. However, I have a feeling that we might be seeing some intense weakness in the dollar this week. All right. So basically, for gold, my bias would be that price comes into this zone, which aligns with the 76.4 fib level. All right, and then from that spot, I would be hoping to see, at least to some extent, some bullish movement, which might come to equate this lows, all right, this highs rather, all right, this equal highs, all right, which also aligns with that trend line, and then we might see some even further bearish impulse. I don't know yet, but as far as I know, I should see price dip this low, all right, then pick back up. So let's see what the 4 hours time frame is saying. Let's check the 4 hours time frame. And as you can see on the 4 hours time frame, structure, the bearish structure is still much intact. All right, so I wouldn't expect so much or too much from it yet. There's also this Quasimodo pattern already formed, or still forming. All right, not already formed, it's still forming, and we've had those shoulders here. We've had this shoulder here, so basically we're waiting to see what price does when it gets into this zone. All right, so we could see price come up to this zone and then drop further down, but nonetheless I feel that price should still go this low. All right, I feel that price should still go this low. Tap into that other block at least. Tap into that other block, complete the Quasimodo pattern, and then give us some really bearish impulse. All right. So what other commodity do we want us to take a look at? Let's go back to synthetic indices. Let's go back to synthetic indices and see what that has for us. Okay, this is a chart of V50. V50 did some really, played some really unexpected stunts. But I'm excited that it did because basically the first leg of the movement that I predicted actually played out perfectly well. However, there's a bit of difficulty because I was hoping to, get this really clean Quasimodo pattern established, but price had other plans in mind, had other thoughts in mind. Price broke out of this trend line, came, into this other block, which was the zone that I was expecting it to. All right, and then immediately it broke out of this trend line. This was a setup that I shared with some of my students when they gave me a call to request for an analysis. I told them this trend line got broken, and then we took this sell entry from here, and as you can see, that was a 1:5. All right, I was hoping it was going to come back here for a retest, but it didn't, so I didn't get my second entry. All right, but nonetheless, that's V50. We're just trying to see and have V51S load up so that we can finish up our analysis on that. Please, if you're following my analysis, please kindly drop a comment in the group. Let me know that you're following. so that I know that I'm not speaking to myself alone. Just drop an emoji or something. Just let me know how many of us are still here and are still following. All right, so on V51S, we've had this this bearish momentum. Let's see. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Let's see, which trend line are we most likely going to want to test? This is my analysis process, and the more you get familiar with it, the easier it becomes for you to, see the market for what it really is. Like I tell people, one of the strongest areas of support and resistance is trend lines. All right, so I don't joke with my trend lines, no matter what the market is saying. I don't joke with my trend lines. All right, so let's go to the 4 hours time frame and see what else we can observe on that chart. All right, so let's see. Okay, so we have that trend line. We're seeing price, come back up to this area. So we're seeing price come back into this area, which is quite interesting because I can't say I know for certain what price is trying to do. But let's see. Let's break it down further. Okay, now this is interesting. So on the 1 hour time frame, it's looking bullish. But I also see this. All right, I'm also seeing that trend line, which and let me see if that aligns with the Fibonacci. Okay, good. So we have 2 areas to watch out for. We have 2 areas to watch out for. One is the area where we're currently at. This is where we're currently at on V51S. So I have 2 zones that I'm watching out for. 1.618, all right, and then the level 2. But let me quickly take a deeper look into that. Let's see if we can get a sniper entry on this. Let's see if we can get a sniper entry on this. Okay, so we still have the same zone, so I'll be looking out for either this area of this zone where we are at the moment. All right, so that's the area of interest. That's the point of interest for me. That's where I'll be watching out for to see what exactly it is that the market has in store. So if you have any other commodity you would like us to take a look at, please could drop it in the comment section before we go into the question and answer session. Now, remember, this is something that we are going to be doing every single week, all right? Every single week. But like I've said, starting from when the group training commences, as soon as the group training commences, this sessions will be restricted or limited to only those who are in the group training, all right, so that they can have an edge at least, and then the rest of us will probably just get the recording of the session, and then we can go over it at our own free time. But for the next, at least for the next 1-2 weeks, we'll still have this every single Sunday, so that we can review the markets and formulate a bias for what the market is about to do in the coming weeks. All right, V100. I think that will be the last commodity I'll take a look at for tonight, so that we can take some question and answer. I can address some questions. In the meantime, I think I should show you this Euro JPY trade. There were so many setups that I dropped last week, and so many of them played out perfectly well, right? Even beyond my expectation, they played out extremely amazingly well. And these things are really not magic, all right, but it's something that you can learn to do based on your consistency with the charts and how clear you can see the markets. All right. So this was Euro JPY. As you can see, I had the thing, I was open for a buy entry from here. As you can see from both. Right, I had a pending buy entry here. And if you look at this market, this movement closely enough, you see that price came back into the zone. The stop loss was not it, all right, but still I got what I deserved or what I needed, all right, and that was a 1:, I think it was a 1:10. Yeah, 1:10 risk to reward trade. All right. Executed smoothly and perfectly. All right. So why am I showing you this? Because I need you to get the fact that there are really no possibilities in this market. All right. There are really no possibilities. You can become so good that your trades, your setups, your analysis responds with accuracy. All right. With extreme levels of accuracy. All right. I can guarantee you that that is one of the things that I can provide you. All right. The kind of mentorship that guarantees you extreme accuracy. Now that's not all. All right. From this stop here, I also took another sell trade. All right. That I exited somewhere around here. Right, and the factor for that was there's a Quasimodo pattern that got formed here, and it gave me some really amazing views. So somebody's saying GBP USD. Let's see V100 first. Let's see V100. Okay, so this is V100 on the 4 hours time frame. Let's see the daily time frame and see if it conforms. All right, this is V100 on the daily time frame. We can see that we've had a really strong bearish impulse, a really strong bearish impulse. Let's see, this is a breaker block here. All right, that's not really what the market reacted to, but I think that this was it. Okay, and then we've had this. Let me see if that aligns with Fibonacci. All right, yes, it does. This is still the daily time frame. This is still the daily time frame. Let me see. Do we have equal highs or equal lows at any point? Now, basically for this, there's something that I would be waiting for or that I would be expecting. Let's go to the 4 hours time frame. All right, this is the 4 hours time frame, and as you can see, we've had this lows taken out. All right, we've had that structure broken. Okay, and price has not yet returned to that spot. All right, this other block here. Or let me take it together with this. All right, we've had this equal lows also taken out. without those equal lows taken out. I believe we had some form of quasi pattern formed here too, but it wasn't a really smooth one. Then we have this market range here. We have that market range there with this other block at the top of that range. So for V100, I might want to see something like this, and this, then this. And the reason is currently, as we all saw, we have a bearish trend on the higher time frame. We have a bearish trend on the higher time frame. We have this trend line formed here. All right, and it seems like price kind of broke out of it. It seems like price kind of broke out of it, but I wouldn't be so certain. All right, because I will still be open. I'm still open for a bearish momentum. Reason being that this trend line and this other block align perfectly. All right, and that's where we have this reaction from. That's where we have that reaction from. Let me do this. So as you can see, we have this reaction from here. So I'm expecting price to come deeper into this level, all right, somewhere around here, all right, and then give that push up back to that major order block that we're seeing on, on the 4 hours, on the daily time frame. All right, I want to see price, get to that point and then come lower, all right, come lower. So that's V100. That's V100. So let's quickly take a look at GBP USD, GBP USD. Let's see what the market has to say to us on that note. Now, basically, quickly, let me add this. If you look here, you see that price has also had these equal lows here. All right, price has made those equal lows there. So it tells me that this is a really strong zone. So if price comes into this level, all right, we should be expecting some reaction. All right, we should be expecting some reaction. So let's quickly go back to GBP USD and see whatever it is that the market would have us see. Although somehow I still feel like price should at least come back to retest this other block. All right, because there's been so many levels broken that the market has not yet made any major retracements to test. All right, so many of them are still really fresh zones. All right, so I'll be expecting price to at least test that area. So let's go into GBP USD. All right, let's see GBP USD. If there are any other commodity analysis requests, we can just do one more. Maybe just drop one more so that I can address that. Time is fast spent. So this is GBP USD on 4 hour time frame. And currently price is doing some really interesting stuff. We've had okay. Can we hear me better right now? Is it better now? How's the audio and video quality right now? Is it better now? Oh, wow. Oh, really? How do I address that? How do I address that? All right. I'm sorry about that. Although from my end, it looks almost like everything is fine, but I don't know why that could be happening. But please just bear with me. Just bear with me. Follow the charts. Follow the arrows. All right. And just complement it with whatever little bit you're hearing. I think the end is really, really bad, right? And I don't think it's just me. I think it's a Nigerian thing. All right, it's a Nigerian thing. I have basically all of the network SIM cards, but it cannot but disappoint. It cannot but disappoint. So this is GBP USD. I think I have a demand zone here from an order block on the daily time frame. All right, so there's this demand zone here from an order block on the daily time frame, and basically we're in this channel. As you can see, with prices inside that channel. Let me remove this. Let me remove that. So we have this channel. As you can see, that's where price is currently revolving around. That channel. And this is the base of that channel. So basically what I'm seeing is, price, doing some bouncing around within that zone. And most hopefully doing this, and then maybe something like this. So all right. I think that works. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that suggestion. Because you looks quite all right. Okay, so please, if anybody is experiencing that, like like he advised, please just try to log out and log in again. All right, so that we see if the audio video quality improves. All right. So having said that, for GBP USD, this is my expectation. All right. Remember, I said that I'm expecting some degree of weakness in the dollar. All right. However, if this does not play out, all right, the next target for GBP USD, quite scary one, all right, for me, is this level. Is this level here. All right. The reason is, if you go to the daily time frame, you see that I marked a trading range. All right. I marked an entire trading range as a demand zone. Okay. As you can see, this low, this high, all right, as a demand zone. And then I'm hoping that price gets into this place and then gives us a bounce back. However, if that does not happen, then it simply means that the next target for price will be somewhere around here. All right, somewhere around this level before we can see any possible push back up, which is really going to be scary for me. But nonetheless, I'm going to do a more detailed breakdown of all of the indices. I'll do GBP, pound index, dollar index, AUD index, CAD index, and then I'm going to give us a breakdown of the strength and weaknesses for the week. All right, but all of this is going to be in the training group, so I'm just going to drop it for all of my students in the training group so that those who want to follow currency pairs for the week and have a strong bias to build their trading bias, their trading off of. All right, so that would be that about that. All right, US30, US30. Let's see. I'm not really a fan of this index because, many people that trade it are people who don't really get the gist, don't really understand what to do with. All right. So at the end of the day, they end up losing a whole lot of money, and it ends up looking like, oh, your analysis was not accurate, your analysis was not correct, right? But nonetheless, because you asked, I'm going to do a breakdown of US30 and just hope that you find your entry, all right? And just hope that you find your entry. So let's see US30 according to Mr. Emperor's request. So this is US30 on the daily time frame. We've had I think we've seen this break of structure. Seen on the lower time frame, I'm sure that this would have already taken place. All right. That's also something to consider, although market is past that price right now. So, but I'm still going to keep it there just in case. So what am I seeing right now? I think I'm seeing this. All right, I'm seeing that. I'm seeing this. All right, which is not looking so good. Let's zoom out and see. Okay, equal eyes here. All right, so this is the daily time frame. So let's quickly take a look at what it's like on the 4 hours time frame. Okay, so this is the 4 hours time frame, US30. All right, remember we're within a trading range on the daily time frame. All right, and then on the 4 hours time frame, we also have this pattern. So basically, I'll be looking for a break of this pattern first. I'll be looking to see maybe something like this. Yeah, I think something like that should work. And because I also want to be careful of this trend line. Okay, that matches perfectly. So we might see this, get the rejection from that area, all right, which also overlaps with this other block. Okay, so we might see that happen, all right, so that price can come back up and retest that trading zone at the top. All right, this trading zone at the top here. Okay, so that's basically my expectation. Price could also decide to do something weird, all right, and then maybe perhaps visit this zone, all right, visit that zone before going down. Or it might even come all the way to the top here. But nonetheless, that's my expectation on US30. All right, but I wouldn't be in a hurry to take a trade on not until this zone is broken out of. All right, so I want to see price break out of this zone, break out of market structure, break the market structure, break above this high. We've already broken above this high, but I want us to see a break above this high, and this high. All right, so that we're going to come back from a lower low, or sorry, from a higher low. All right, and then go from a higher high. All right, so I believe that we've gotten some value from tonight. All right, I believe that we've gotten some value from tonight. So right about now, we're going to go into the question and answer session. All right, we're going to go into some question and answer session. All right, apologies about that. I think that I got disconnected. Sorry about that. So we're coming into the question and answer sessions right now.